So after picking up the offer and getting the URL affiliate link, we need to use this link in the tracking script. So let's imagine this is the tracking script. So what we're going to do, we take the affiliate link that we get in from the CP network. This URL, we're going to integrate this URL in the tracking script. And that tracking script, we're going to change this URL and they give us a new URL tracked or tracked URL. So when you get this new URL and give it to the visitor or the one who wants him to go to the offer, he will not go in directly to the offer. He will go in the first time to that tracking script. And that tracking script, we're going to redirect it, this visitor, to the offer, the same offer that you put it in the beginning. He will automatically redirect that visitor to the offer. But what he will going to do is he will going to tracking that visitor to get all the information about that visitor. All those script, they using the sub ID. They adding the sub ID in the URL to track every visitor use this link. Let me explain you more. For example, let's imagine here lot of visitor that are the visitor that you send it to offer. And before we was sending the visitor to the offer, we don't know anything about those 1,000 visitor right here or 10,000, maybe 1 million visitor. You don't know anything about it. But now we're going to know all the detail about those visitor. And for example, in the other side, we have the offer. This is the offer that we're going to send traffic to this offer. Let's, for example, take as this is our email submit. If you don't know what does mean email submit, go back to the preview section to get idea about email submit. So the operation will be that the visitor will going to pass on the tracking script before going to the offer. And this tracking script, we're going to send in that visitor to the offer. And the tracking script, we're going to add an ID for that visitor, for example, number 1. And when we send the second visitor to the link, they will pass through the tracking script. And before, we don't know who is this visitor. And the tracking script, we're going to give it number 2 for this second visitor. And the same for the visitor number 3. The tracking script will give it the number 3 for the visitor. So he connects an ID for every visitor come through the script or come through the URL tracked. So of course it's not will be number 1, 2 or 3, but just to get the idea, those tracking scripts, they using the variable number. It's just a variable number. They use it to get identify any visitor. For example, they were going to use, for example, X53261, or the second visitor will get an ID, for example, Y727352, and the same for the visitor number 3, number 4, etc. So let's take in this example, we have, for example, 5 visitors. Let's add the number 4 and number 5. So in this example, we have 5 visitors visiting our URL target, and this URL send them to the offer. In this example, the offer is email submit. We have here the email address and the submit button. Let's take, for example, that the visitor number 1 and the visitor number 4 submit their email in this offer. And after they submit their email, they will go in automatically to the second page that we call it thank you page. So before using the tracking tool, we can't know who is those people who make the offer and we get it paid because they submit their email. We don't know who is those people who submit their email to get our payout. So when you create your URL in this tracking script, this tracking script give you a link or a script, and that link you give it to the advertiser, and the advertiser going to add that link in the thank you page, in the second page like you see here. He going to add your link in this thank you page. And when, for example, the visitor number 1 who submit her email in the offer, they automatically go into the second page, the thank you page. And when that visitor visiting the thank you page, advertiser in this offer, they automatically open the link that you give them to add it in her page. So they open the link, and that link, when they open it, he automatically send a ping to the tracking script. He automatically send a ping to the tracking script to tell them that the visitor number 1 he already visit the thank you page. That link that tracking tool will give it to you is, for example, y.com. It will be your domain.com, because you will need to give it the script a domain name, because we're going to need that domain. We're going to talk about this step in the next videos. So, for example, when you give your domain in the script tool, they automatically generate a new URL and give you, for example, y.com/ for example, addclick.php. And for example, when the visitor number 1 visits the thank you page, that script we're going to change the URL and add the ID of the visitor. For example, the link will be y.com/ addclick.php x equal 1. And for example, if the visitor number 4 visit the thank you page, they will going to open your link and they automatically add the number 4 at the end of the link and sending a ping with that link to tracking script. So when you visit your tracking script, you will find that the visitor number 1, he submit her email. And the same thing will be for the number 4, the visitor number 4. They will automatically add number 4 in the URL in the thank you page, and you will find that in the visitor number 4 he submit her email. So there are another method to track the people who attend the second page, the thank you page. Like I see before, they are the direct link, like I explained just now. And the second option is the iframe. You use an iframe to track who visit the second page, the thank you page. The iframe is a HTML script. The tracking script give it to you, and you take that iframe and give it to the advertiser to add it in his thank you page. And every time when the visitor visits the thank you page, that script will go automatically to send a ping to tracking script. Unfortunately, a lot of advertisers don't accept to use the iframe. Why? Because this iframe is a script. A script, they will add it in his thank you page. But how they can trust any publisher that the script is safe? And like you know, this iframe is a script, and the script you can create anything and do anything with that script. Maybe, for example, someone will going to give them a script that script will going to close the page anytime when the script executes. It automatically close the page, or for example, grab the email of the visitor or anything of the black hat. So this is a script. The advertiser don't like it. So you will find that all the advertisers were going to use the URL method. They like the URL method than the iframe. So now we have that the visitor number 1 and number 4 who submit their email, who complete the action. So you will ask what's the benefit from knowing that the visitor number 1 and number 4 who submit their email. So in the next video, I will show you what is the benefit from knowing this number and that visitor who complete the action.